Get ready today as we cover the first official trailer for Fantastic Four, such as what secrets lie behind John Malkovich's mysterious role. We explore the first look at Galactus and share our thoughts on the transformation of Ben Grimm. And while we're at it, we cover the latest episodes of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as Norman Osborn becomes Peter Parker's new mentor, and so much more in the world of cinema and gaming. We finally got some great Marvel trailers to talk about.
I can't wait.
Let's get going. The long-awaited Fantastic Four trailer finally here, or teaser trailer, I guess if you want to say. It's a whole minute 37, I believe.
Yeah.
Man, so excited. Definitely nailing the 60s vibe in another
Oh
universe.
yeah, 100%.
Paying so much respects to, I mean, the original comics, honestly, in that time era. But it to me, I think visually it looked great. I like the retro look. I love retro anything.
Yeah.
And Matt Shackman, like, they have the right guy to do the retro look between WandaVision and now this. I think, yeah, the guy
Like
loves his retro
his
setting.
retro TVs is exactly where I was going with that.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. You can see that, and then, I really like that. The first like opening thing, like as soon as the teaser trailer started, was the whole like elevator doors, which I thought was really cool because like Thunderbolts also has that. And they're like
Marvel loves their theater or their elevators for real.
right. So I was just like, oh man, like I wonder if this is gonna keep being a thing and then eventually somehow tie into like, I don't know, other things like
They're gonna have
how
a thing.
yeah. So I mean, like,
That
how we had like Captain America saying that's like Hail Hydra
right.
in the elevator. And so there's like, I don't know, there's like a lot of different like elevator scenes that are like iconic.
I was just playing a cue on the words of the thing. Ben
Oh,
Grimm.
oh, oh, nope, right over my head.
Oh no, you're right though. It's wild, all the different elevator scenes we get and everything since
Mhm.
since day one, really,
Yeah.
almost, or since the first Avengers at least. I think that's what first.
I mean, the first time that we saw Nick Fury in Iron Man is he was coming out of Tony Stark's elevator. Like,
That's right. Oh, was he?
yeah?
Or was he? I think he was sitting on the
Or
couch,
is
or was Tony sitting on the couch?
I don't know. I thought there was an elevator in that scene that had like a coincidence.
I
And
think
like
Tony
end
Tony
credit
was
scene
coming
too.
down. Tony was coming down the stairs, or maybe out of the elevator, and I think Nick Fury was standing there by the window, or something
Okay.
like that. Because he stops and he's like, "Who are you?" type thing.
Ah,
But
I
man,
might
visually appealing. Like, they nailed the '60s vibe, and as we get into some details of some of the stuff that we talk about with this trailer, I think this takes place exactly in 1963, and we get this because of the very first artwork we get of them. Ben Grimm's actually reading a Life magazine, and the cover of it is when it took place in 1963. So that's kind of how we
Oh.
know that exact year is because of that. I think Lyndon B. Johnson, maybe, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is the president on the front of Life magazine that he's reading from that first artwork we got.
Mm.
But man, so many great things about this. Obviously, it's never long enough. Um, uh,
Just give me the movie. Just give me the whole
yeah,
movie early.
yeah.
It's okay.
I'm ready for July to hurry up and get here for multiple reasons, and this being one of the top three reasons.
Yeah.
This is probably my number one, and then Superman would be my two, then Jurassic Park my number three. But man, you want
Yeah.
to jump into some of the scenes and the questions we've got, some theories
Yes.
we got going on.
Let's go.
So Sue Storm, there's been since day one the talk that they're going to have Franklin Richards in this,
Mm.
and we don't know if it's going to have Valeria, but Franklin Richards, their son, is supposedly going to be in this. And there's a scene at the very beginning as you talk, and the way she's kind of walking. I'll let
Yeah.
you kind of describe this and get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so she kind of doing that like pregnancy waddle. You know how like people when they're carrying, they kind of like walk a little funny because like
Mhm.
you got like a whole extra carriage now.
Right.
So like the whole reason why like this is coming into like people's minds and thoughts of like why they think this might be a thing is because it's called Fantastic Four First Steps. So we all immediately thought that it was because of the space race and like first steps on the moon. But now we're kind of actually thinking that maybe it's first steps because she's pregnant. And we do know that it is a year in timeline lapse because you get to see Ben Grimm as the Thing, right?
Right.
Dress up in two different Halloween costumes. So that means that it's a year apart, meaning that like theoretically she could have been pregnant and had child. So then how does that play in with if their
Hmm.
world gets destroyed by Galactus? Like there's a whole bunch of questions that I'm wondering, but I do think that she might be pregnant.
Yeah, I think that is a scene, and we know how Marvel loves to CGI some things temporarily in these trailers, such as like when we got Infinity War. We thought we were getting the Hulk running, and it was the Hulk running with everybody, and come to find out it was actually Banner and the Hulkbuster suit. So this is something that they could easily CGI, off,
Yeah.
uh, throw us off and surprise us. It,
Hmm.
so they CGI'd out the other two Spider-Man on No Way Home and only showed us that one. But yeah, I think you're right. It definitely looks like it. Uh,
Yeah.
Man,
It's the whole like lean back and like
it's definitely not a natural walk. And like
no.
her walk in other scenes as well. So, uh,
Yeah, and she had to have been pretty far along to start that walk.
hmm.
Just because like when you're within the first couple of months, you're not really like growing a belly like that yet.
Right.
But then like after that, you do start to kind of waddle. So, because they are the first superheroes and people can see their faces, like they're showing around like their apartment and saying like we have
Hmm.
dinner here.
Every
Um,
Sunday.
every Sunday, and then we get to hear Ben Grimm talking to Herbie. So
Hmm.
what were your thoughts on that whole scene where they were talking about the sauce?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, I love this scene, especially just because of Eben being in the bear. I think that's a complete playoff for that.
Mhm.
And another reason, even more so, I want to get the shirt from New Rock Stars because they have one of the Thing wearing the apron from the bear, and it says cousin thing or something like that on there. And
Okay.
like and like I've been wanting that shirt since before this, but like now I'm like I have to get this. That's the shirt I want to wear to the showing.
I was about to say
Uh,
you gotta wear it now for that.
so I'm telling you this, like the look of Ben Grimm is so comic accurate, and like some things need adaptation, some things need slightly shifting when you take them from the comics to this.
Mhm.
But I think it works. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Uh, One thing that threw me off, and initially I'll be completely honest, was his voice because
Mm.
it's Evan's normal voice,
Okay.
and I got to thinking, and I'm like, oh, initially I'm like that don't sound like Ben Grimm, but then I'm like, wait a second. Ben Grimm was in the comics all those years before he ever came to screen. You don't know what his voice sound like. What
Yeah.
we're going off of is what they've made his voice sound like, how they wanted to on these previous films. There's
Right.
nothing out there establishing that his voice needs to be gravelly or nothing like that.
Mhm.
And then another thing is like in some of these past films, they show like the screen in the med lab and stuff as Ben is changing, and it shows his internal organs turning into rock. Actually, in the comics, and to be completely accurate with Ben Grimm, it's actually only his exterior that turns into that. His internal body is normal, and like we see his tongue in this as he's like tasting the sauce, and that's something you don't normally see, and it kind of throws you off as well. But that's
Mhm.
actually very accurate. His internal body is all normal organs. I mean,
Yeah.
his tongue and all that. That's normal. We're
Yeah.
just used to what we've seen on screen before,
Mhm.
which isn't naturally true. I mean, they can do their adaptations as they wish, but
Yeah.
so then I get that out of my head. I'm like, all right, that you're used to hearing his voice as a gravelly, and I like his voice as a gravelly, but I'm like, I gotta keep my mind open. I'm open to hearing this sounding like his normal voice, because if you really think about it, this is more comic accurate with his voice sounding like that, since his internal organs, his internal body is normal. It's just the exterior of him.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad. I do want to see a lot more dialogue with him.
Mhm.
and obviously I won't cast my judgment until after I see the movie. But
Yeah.
also, when you have someone playing like him, and you're not going to get to see his face a lot. You're going to get to see his CGI character and practical, mixed in with the CGI.
Yeah.
You kind of want your voice to be known. I mean,
Yeah.
especially when you have a name and a status like him that's playing a role like this. So I can't blame him. I'm anxious to see more.
Yeah.
What
No.
is your thoughts on it?
So for me, I was fine with his voice. It was more along the eyebrows that kind of threw me off.
Hmm.
And how like
So I love
rocky
that.
his face. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's very accurate as to what a rock looks like, or what rocks could look like, because all rocks, no rocks are the same, just like snowflakes.
for sure.
So like I was fine with the look, or with the voice. The look just kind of threw me off a little bit, and that's also
Mm,
because I'm only used to what I've been seeing,
sure.
you know,
And this is more comic
2005.
accurate,
Yeah,
but
so that's what I've been learning.
yeah,
So I'm fine with it. I do love the fact that he was clapping in the way that it, like, his
the
clap kind of
sound,
sounded.
yes,
Yes. It sounded like rocks clunking together.
yes.
Or like, you know how like they have those like machines that
Hmm.
like you put your rocks in and then it's like it tumbles, a rock tumbler, I guess is what they're
Right.
called.
Yeah.
Um so, like, thinking about that, and, like, the sounds that that makes, and then hearing him clap, it definitely was, like, really cool. I like the color of the rock of
Hmm.
his rock, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, I liked all of those things. It was just the eyebrows that really, like, threw me off, just because they were just so
Yeah. So I
boxy,
could be
so
wrong, but I think I like it because this is more that comic accurate looking Ben Grimm.
mm,
But I also think that, and I don't know if the eyebrows are going to be able to move much, but I think with him being so much rock, and if they are able to move with the CGI part, this is going to be able to express a lot more features as well on top of
mm,
that. And I think we're going to get so much more real aesthetics of him being able to express themselves and seem super more realistic, like you said, such as the clapping, possibly the motion of the eyebrows. I don't know. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm just ready to see more because I love Ben Grimm. Like I've
well,
always
I
been
mean,
a huge Ben Grimm fan.
hopefully, later today, we'll see something else.
It would be nice. Yes,
Fingers crossed, over here. But we also got to see Johnny Storm do his little flame on
we did. We
out of the
did.
window. I was like, "Whoo!"
That looked good, and
Yeah,
like Joseph Quinn's such a great actor. But one thing, like I am curious, is like one thing you see about him in real life, and the one thing you see about like a lot of these roles he's played is he's always so friendly and nice and warm, and like warm and hot headed, in that manner is
yeah,
completely different. Johnny Storm's
yeah.
very kind of egotistical and hot headed, and
Mhm.
it's like I know he's a great actor, but we never seen him play a role like that. And like I'm really hoping he can turn into that version of Johnny because that's the version of
Right.
Johnny we need.
Yeah.
That's what when people think of Johnny Storm, and on
I
top of
think
that,
Chris Evans, because of
uh,
like definitely his
right, yeah, Chris Evans was like a perfect Johnny Storm to I feel
Deadpool and
like.
Wolverine, where we got
Well,
to
yeah,
see
even
those.
well, yeah, and that one too.
Yeah.
But like even in the 2005,
Uh-huh.
he was like a perfect Johnny Storm then too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, he was such a great Johnny Storm when I first heard of him getting announced as Captain America. I'm like, I don't know, I don't know, because Johnny Storm and Captain America is completely different, people. And
Yeah.
then lo and behold, he brought a great Captain America. But
I think Chris Evans is just a phenomenal actor, and I think that,
yeah, he is.
the actor that's playing Johnny Storm, Quinn, Joseph Quinn, right?
Joseph Quinn. Hmm.
Yeah. I think that he's gonna knock it out of the park. I really do think
Yeah,
so. Like, I don't think that it takes too much to be an egotistical hothead.
arrogant person. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I think that he's gonna be able to do that flip easily,
Mhm.
but it is good to know that he is like a nice person, like outside of,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
of
Like,
his
even in his like, all his interviews and stuff, he's just such a pleasant person to hear
yeah,
hear him talk to. I
yeah.
really Here's another scene we got from the trailer was, like, this
The meteor shower.
the meteor shower and stuff coming in, and it's like, what is this? Is this the coming of Galactus? Is this part of an incursion starting? Like, what could this be? It's, definitely, I mean, a pretty big scene. I think that's gonna hold a lot of weight, and it's like,
Mhm.
hmm.
Do you think that's the beginning of their end? of that
I
universe?
don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Like, is it just like how Galactus is coming into, devour a planet? Is this how he comes about, or
Mm,
is this an incursion? Like, are we going to get an incursion in this, or is it Galactus destroying the planet? I don't know. There's so many questions I have. Uh, but the scene was beautiful. But
mhm.
yeah, John Malkovich though. We get a John Malkovich appearance right here,
Yes.
and we
Looking
obviously
like Father
don't.
Time.
Yeah, yeah. And we obviously don't know who his character is, but there's a lot of theories out there.
Yeah.
And one of the most, popular common theories is a lot of people think he's Red Ghost.
Okay.
So Red Ghost, first appearance was in 1963 in
Oh,
the
I see what you
comics.
did there. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
in the comics and Fantastic Four, or I say episode, number 13 comic, and he allies with Moman at one point. He trains some trained primates that have powers. He's definitely a villain against the Fantastic Four. He's a Soviet scientist,
Mm,
and a lot of people think that's who he is. And we've heard talks that Moman's going to be in this, or at least a scene, because Fantastic Four, we're going to see, is already well established in their hero career,
right.
and rumor has it that we might get like a flashback of like Mo-Man fight, because that
Mm,
was in the comics their first villain that they fought against, and him teaming up with Mo-Man, it kind of makes sense for him to be Red Ghost.
yeah,
Do you have any? And I think his Ivan Kragoff is his proper name, not his villain title in the comics. So, what's your thoughts on
yeah.
this? Do you think that's a pretty strong theory, or you have anybody else you think it could be?
So, as somebody that doesn't really have a lot of Fantastic Four comic knowledge, I think it is accurate as to from what it kind of looks like in the comics as to what the
Hmm.
kind of like what we got from that teaser footage. Um, other than being Father Time, which I thought was hilarious. Just
Yeah.
saying that just now, I'm just like, yo, what if he's like an actual like not a villain, but
He's working for Loki now,
yeah, I mean, like,
or
we
the
don't really
TVA.
know we don't really know who he's gonna be playing. Is he actually gonna be playing a villain? Do we know that for sure?
Yeah, it's we don't know anything for sure, to be honest.
Okay,
So
cool. So,
yeah,
yeah, there you go.
we just know he's in it, and that's the first
He could
visual we've
be,
got.
kind of like a variant of something, that kind
Well,
of shows them how to time travel or get away
mhm,
from, because I mean, they have gone out to space, and that's how they talked about it in the trailers, that they've been
right,
up there more than once, because the first
right.
time they went up, they didn't have any powers, and the second time that they went up is when they got those powers. We also didn't see any Reed stretching in this
Mhm.
trailer. Um,
Yeah, we didn't. We see
we didn't
everybody's
see
power
that.
but his.
Right, we saw everybody but his, and then we also did get to see, the car, but, other than that, like, I don't really have many ideas as to who he could
Mhm.
be, but the fact that it is at 1963 is when he first, like, originally appeared in a comic, and this is supposed to be taking
Yeah.
place, allegedly, in 1963, I think that that's, like, a good
There's
basis as to what we could expect, or it could be
mhm.
completely something different, and we'll figure
There
it out.
there was one more theory that I heard, and I don't think this is strong enough theory, but they said this could be Reed Richards' father, Nathaniel Richards.
Oh?
And Nathaniel Richards, as we know, went on to become Kang, I believe. Or no, maybe that was Reed Richards' grandson that they named after his dad, Nathaniel.
Oh,
But anyways, Nathaniel Richards was another theory, but I think the Red Ghost sounds the
yeah.
most solid,
I
at least
wanna see
with all the
John
backing.
Malkovich as, another villain because he's also a brilliant actor. So anything that he's done has been, pretty great.
Oh yeah, I love this movie, the two movies, Red. You ever watch those?
I watched the first one.
Yeah,
I don't
John
think I
Malkovich
watched
is in
the second
that.
one.
Helen Mirren and all of them. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a great series.
Bruce Willis, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But we also get our first visual of Galactus. We
Yeah.
only get to see the backside of him, but wow, you talking about comic accurate. Like everything we're seeing in this, and like I don't know if it's one of those things where they're like, okay, we know this isn't going to be the permanent universe that they're in. They're going to come into our main universe 616 at a point. So
Mhm.
let's go ahead and just make a movie that is temporary universe.
Yeah.
Let's pay as much homage we can to the original Fantastic Four from the comics, and like that's all this thing is screaming to me. Everything is
I love that.
screaming. Yeah, I do too because I think, when you do comic to movie adaptations, it's called adaptations for a reason because not everything from those pages is going to work on screen.
Right.
But at the same time, you do have a lot of these comic fans who would love to see that, and I think this is a perfect scenario or a perfect movie where you can
Mhm.
actually do that and it not affect anything in a negative way, and
Yeah.
you can make it work by it being a temporary universe. And so, yeah, it's great, and it also being I don't know, it being, one of the first, comics from the 60s and then First Family. I think this is a great title, to do this as. If any other character, this is a great one to choose to do that for.
Yeah. So real quick before we go into our next topic, Herbie.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, I got one more
maybe
picture to show too of the whole family
oh,
of them all. So you're good.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So Herbie, like, do you think that they're gonna take him with them? And also, did you hear him kind of be able to speak a little bit, like enough that like the thing Ben Grimm was able to understand him when
Yeah.
he was talking about the sauce being almost done?
I don't know. So, like, I know a lot of people had theories of who would be playing Herbie's voice, like
Mm,
Natasha Leone, and some other guy. But really, the sound of his voice was almost like so robotic and digital. Like, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a name really playing his voice.
yeah.
But I don't know. I wonder if this will be like, just part of that comic accurate thing and they have to leave him behind, get left behind, or if they bring him with them. I didn't really think about that, to be honest with you. What do you think? I mean, I
I
it
low key want them to bring him, but
yeah,
also like I high key think that they're not going to.
yeah. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we got to see a whole movie with Herbie and they leave him behind. But then at the same time,
What if
people
he's Wally?
yeah.
What if this is the beginning of Wally and that's how they tie in Disney? Sorry.
Herbie,
um,
evolved into Wally.
yes, because he's like
Yeah,
the only thing that's on that earth that is very much destroyed, and
sure. I love this, actually. I love this. Now my mind's spinning even more.
I'm sorry, that's what I
Oh, no,
do.
no,
I'm
I
here to
love it.
just like spin spider webs over here.
And then at the end of the trailer, we pretty much get a view of them in all their suits, right here.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful scene. I think this is something being filmed and on the TV, obviously, but it's great just kind of see them all in their suits in the same scene. Once
Mhm.
again, super comic accurate colors and designs. Um, yeah, I'm here for it.
I love that
I'm
we
so
go ahead.
I was just say I really would love to see that Super Bowl a full trailer or a trailer with more scenes, but I don't think we're going to get a trailer with full more scenes in it just like a week from them dropping this teaser. I
Mm,
really don't because usually they want those teasers to be out there, let them marinate
hmm.
and keep people's on the edge waiting for the full trailer and more
Okay.
scenes. And I just don't think they're going to drop something a week after they drop this. I think
I
this needs
say
to be
no. It's bullshit,
circulating.
and I
I
expect one. I
think
expect
they're going
one
to let it
today.
circulate. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. We can hope and wish. Like I
Yeah.
definitely want it. I just don't think
Yeah.
they will.
I'm just happy that they're going away from not being comic accurate, like how when we had our original X-Men, that they had these black leather suits on
Yeah,
that were not comic accurate whatsoever with the yellow and blue, and now we're getting there.
the late
And
'90s and early 2000s, they were a wild time. The
and
Matrix was cool.
I love that we're getting that, right? As somebody who hasn't read any comics and like wants to
Mhm.
know more, always wants to know more, I love that it's becoming more accurate and
Mm,
more accurate with the comics of the costumes, but also with their background
sure.
and how that all goes.
No, most definitely. Most definitely. So, got 3 more episodes of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Let's talk about it
Oh,
because
man. They're
so
so
much.
good.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's say, episodes 3, 4, and 5. Episodes 3 was Secret Identity Crisis. Episode 4 was, Hitting the Big Time, and
Mhm.
episode 5 was The Unicorn Unleashed.
Which I thought was a hilarious title, but then actually watching it, it makes sense why it's called that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's funny that they call it that considering why they call it that, but then the character that's anyways.
Yeah. So, the first episode, or the third rather, the
Yeah.
secret identity one is really them, like, they're going through different costumes.
Yeah.
And, I love the first one because immediately in my head, I would thought of Incredibles where Edna Mode was like, "No capes!" Because his cape gets caught and he's, like, fucking
As
hanging
he
and
jumps down.
yes, and he's, like, wrapped up in it, and then he gets beat the fuck up, like, I thought that was hilarious, that we got to see that, and then a whole
Yeah.
bunch of other, like, costumes that were just
Yeah, we'll throw them up
different.
here actually. Here's all the ones he went through in those episodes. Then you got the one on the far left that has like the wasp wings.
Yeah, that were having glitches and he
And
couldn't, like, control them.
then the black one scared the shit out of everybody.
It scared the shit out of that kid, he came out of
Yeah.
that tree like, "I'm gonna murder your family," and she was like, "Ah!" And he was like, "No, but I'm nice."
Oh man, it was hilarious. I didn't think we were going to get the so like we've seen visuals of these right before this even came out.
I
And,
think
and
so,
these are actually variants of Spider-Man throughout the comics throughout the
yeah. Mhm,
years. So I did not think we were going to get to see these incorporate him as trial suits that they were coming up with and like this many. So it was I'm glad they did it. It was cool
mhm.
paying respects to these old suits, but then the way they brought it into this, and then us getting to see the trial and errors was great. It was fun,
Yeah, and then they landed on the white suit,
right?
that
With a little bit of red and blue highlights in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty cool,
it
but
was a
I
cool
think
looking
it
suit.
yeah, yeah, it definitely was, but that yellow one, it will always make me laugh just thinking of it, but then we get to see, Lonnie Lincoln, like, he's kind of, like, on this is he on a date? No. No, because they were just talking and he was like he called up Pearl and was like, "Hey, you need to take me home.
Yeah,
Like, can you just
yeah.
take me home now?" Because he was at school. He was
Gotta do that gang shit.
yeah, so he, got home, the police were there, his parents were there, and they're like, "I don't know where your brother is, or your brother's, like, grounded for all of life," and he went to
Mm,
go talk to his brother. The brother escaped out of the window, out of like a fire escape, which is
right.
very classic to New York. And he went and found him at the gang, the hundred
Yeah,
and
I got ahead of myself by saying that. I apologize.
no, you're fine. No, you're fine. The 100. What was it? The 100.
The 110, wasn't it?
110? Is it 110?
Yeah.
I was like 103. I don't know. I couldn't remember what this street was, but
I think it's like 110 Avenue Gang or something like that.
I don't know. I thought it was like 110 or 103 Street gang, but so I thought that was, like, pretty
Yeah,
heartwarming. What?
110th Street Gang.
Ah,
Yep.
okay, cool. Gang. But, like, he went to the, gang and grabbed his brother and was like, "Let's go, we're going home." Then,
Mhm.
like, the leader was like, "No,
Big
that's my
Donovan.
kid." Donovan? Yes.
Big Donovan.
Yeah, he was like, "You can't just take my people. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Oh, wait, no, I know exactly who you are. Like, everybody's talking about you." And then, that's when you get to see Lonnie say, "Alright, I'll take his place." And now
This
this is
big
where his, like
sacrifice.
it's where
Uh,
his villain arc begins, which I
it's
thought
a
was
sad story. Like it's so good, but it's so
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
But
He was just looking after his family and his brother, and then at
yeah.
first, like, you
He's
get
got
to
such
see
a bright future ahead of him too,
yeah,
and stuff. It's
yeah.
like, oh my god, you know where this is going. Like,
Mhm.
and I didn't know we were going to get to see his character arc in this. Like, I didn't know if we were just going to get Lonnie Lincoln in high
Yeah,
school and that's it. But nah, no, they're taking us down that path of
yeah.
his fall and his evolution into as we get to see at the end of this is where he gets his name Tombstone. So
Yeah, because he proved himself and,
I know I'm kind
like,
of
because
we're kind of
yeah,
jumping
no,
around, but
it's a jump around, but, like, we got all 3 at the same time, so
yeah.
obviously we watched all 3 back to back to back, so
Took the stabbing for his boss and proved
yeah,
himself and
he tackled the guy just like he would
mm,
in football, which was reminiscent to like
Yeah.
his beginnings.
I like how the guy's like, "Oh, we're gonna call you Gravedigger."
And he's like, nah, he's gonna be Tombstone. And I was like, oh, they said it.
Yeah, and like I'm not gonna lie, like you don't want to see Lonnie go down this path, even though you know he turns this way. But like in
Mm,
that moment, they called Tim. I was like, "That's badass."
yeah,
even though just bad, that's badass. That was a cool moment.
yeah. And you know, like he liked the praise. Like
Right,
he's a teenager in high school. He likes
right.
the fact that he's getting attention. So he's like, all right, like I'm the hot shit now. Like let's fucking go. I
It's
can't do no wrong in anything that I do, apparently. So
yeah. And then speaking of like Big Donovan and the gang, you know that Lonnie Lincoln there teams up with, we get to see Matt Gargan, the Scorpion and his gang, who they kind of go up against, which is also the Scorpion villain of Spider-Man, one of the main villains. So it's really cool to see. I love all these characters. We're getting like so much, like
yeah.
they're like not holding back whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
And I think we've seen visuals in marketing for this that we get to see him in the Scorpion suit on down the road, which I personally think that we also get to see Doc Ock in this, and he's the one that's kind of behind the technology. And can I just say, I love changes and different stuff with characters, but I love like this Doc Ock looks almost identical to the Doc Ock from the '90s animated series, like
Yeah.
almost like perfect. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Uh, and
But
as
yeah,
you,
you get to see that Doc Ock is the one that's like creating all this high tech, which is how we
yes,
get to the unicorn,
yeah,
which is Rhino. Pretty much,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
Rhino, right?
Yeah. So she's using it, and then once he kind of gets off and she, kind of throws him under the bus type thing, he takes off with the helmet. Spider-Man saved him, so he lets Spider-Man off. They separate the ways, but he tells Spider-Man, if we come across our paths again, this ain't happening again. I'm gonna come after you. And so we get the story arc of beginning of Rhino, this tech that has like a rhino horn, which I love how they call this the unicorn unleashed. So we get Rhino, Doc Ock, and Scorpion and Tombstone all in these, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it's so great.
yeah.
It-
So
I'm having
that,
so much
that
fun
yeah.
with these.
And then we get to see Harry Osborn get to
Yes,
understand that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and he becomes the man in the chair.
yes, which is so crazy because like when you think of Osborn's, both of them, being a man in the chair at two different times, like you don't expect this. Like that's the last thing you expect the Osborn to be. Uh, the creativity that they're going with the storytelling is just it's there. It's working. It's great.
Yeah,
I can't get enough of it.
yeah. No,
But
it's
I'm like just waiting though for that moment for one of the Osborns to flip though.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, do you think that they're gonna get the tech and then they're gonna realize what they can, like the ability of what they can do with the tech, or
I
do you
don't
think that
know.
like she Connors, like the Dr. Connors, that's a she,
Hmm.
is gonna like become Scorpion or not Scorpion, sorry,
Lizard.
Lizard, and off of that alone, like they're gonna eventually start taking that kind of like I have.
I don't know. So it makes me wonder because, like, obviously, there's no way to predict what's going to happen in this, just because it's a standalone universe that we've never seen before, and so like it makes you wonder just naturally because Osborn is one of the ultimate villains, obviously,
Mhm.
in the Spider-Man stories. Is will we get to see them, turn into the villain we always know them as, no matter what universe we see them in, or will this be a universe where we have all of these villain lineups and the Osborns actually stay good? The Osborns makes me think also like Ozzy Osbourne, like in that show. Anyways,
Gotcha.
uh, Harry, Harry and Norman, will we get to see them actually truly stay good? And just
Or
be on
will one of them
Spider-Man's
stay
side,
good and then the
or
other one
or
goes
yeah,
bad?
it
Or
it 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 keeps me on the edge of my seat, wondering and just waiting.
well,
And
we have 3 seasons of this,
I
so
know, but like we have such a huge villain lined up, and we're not even done seeing everything. It just
mhm,
makes me wonder, like, will they even ever go that route in this universe, or will half of them, or will both of them, or I don't know. We don't know, but
We don't know.
I'm here to find out. Let me tell
Oh,
you.
yeah.
I
Oh,
am
yeah.
literally loving this. I'm loving this as much as X-Men 97. Like X-Men obviously is like we talked last week is to me still number 1 just because it holds that nostalgic,
Mhm.
piece of my heart from what gained my love for Marvel.
Yeah.
But like this is definitely number 2. Like it is so freaking good.
Yeah. And, we do know that this Spider-Man, right, the guy that voices this Spider-Man
Uh,
is
Hudson
gonna,
Thames.
yeah, he's gonna
Mhm.
continue, to voice Spider-Man, and we found out today that he's gonna voice it in, Zombies.
Yeah, yeah,
It's coming
because
out in
he
October.
was the Spider-Man voice also in What If, which we got to
Mhm.
see in the zombie episode. So it's good to see them take him from that, and I feel like he can continue that same voice.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep that same voice, keep that what we're familiar with. It wouldn't be good to see a bunch of changes. So
Right. Yeah, no, I'm happy that, that they did confirm that he's gonna be in
Mhm.
Marvel Zombies and, that we're gonna get some more of him. I mean, we are gonna get more of him regardless in season 2 and 3 of Spider-Man, but,
Right.
um, I think that, like, continue I don't know. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man right now.
Same, same. Yeah, like I know I got the big, big canvas behind me, so you think I'm just like a huge diehard Spider-Man fan, and well, I guess I got the tattoo. But like, the more Spider-Man stuff like the MCU keeps having their hands in, like the more I'm loving it even more. Which
Mhm.
the '90s Spider-Man animated series was the same thing out with the X-Men that started my love for this, and like that's another thing I would love to see is them also bring a continuation of that story, like they did X-Men '97 because that was just as loved as much as the X-Men in the 90s. And let that be another standalone universe, but a continuation of the 90s story and like they're
Mhm.
doing X-Men. I really hope that they do that.
Yeah.
So but speaking of Super Bowl trailers in Marvel, supposedly the rumor is that we will get a new Thunderbolts trailer with new scenes,
Mhm.
which I'm ready for. Like that's a trailer that's been circulating around for a while. And I think like it's had enough time that as much as we want to see more Fantastic Four, I think we're more apt to probably see reused footage of Captain America for the last final push before the movie
Mm.
comes out next week or this week. Whew, 4 more days. But anyways, I think we may get a new trailer for Thunderbolts because that is
Yeah.
the next movie following Brave New World, and we're due for some new footage. So,
Yeah, so, they said that it's like I think it was the Direct that did like a article on it that I saw. But they had said that either Thunderbolts was going to be having a trailer today, so at the Super
mhm.
Bowl, or they're gonna have one tomorrow, for the Monday after kind of thing. So
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha.
so it's one of the two. I mean, it's
I think
still
it'll be today
technically
for the
a
Super
rumor, so
Bowl.
I hope so. And
Mm.
I wanna change my answer from yesterday or not yesterday, but last week.
Yeah,
Last week I had said that I thought the, 2, trailers that we were gonna get because we know that we're gonna get 2 trailers because Marvel said that
right,
they're gonna promote 2 movies.
right.
So I said it was gonna be Captain America and Fantastic Four, but now, because I know that Thunderbolts is supposedly rumored anyway, so it's
Mhm.
supposed to come out with something, I wanna say that I want Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Oh, that's what
And
I want.
do know
I just don't think that's what we're going to get.
I do know that Captain America is supposed to, I mean, they're coming out, like, this
Mhm.
week, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that maybe Disney is doing kind of like a tongue in cheek type thing,
Okay.
where they still are going to be doing like product placement for Brave New World, but I think it's
Mhm.
going to be in the form of like those other commercials, like the Tide or something else. And it's not
Gotcha.
technically talking about the movie, but it's still about the movie. So I think that that is what we're going to get for Captain America. So we're still getting something, but I think that, the 2 specific trailers that we will be getting is for Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping. Anyway, I'm over here just
We
like,
shall find out later today.
yes, biding my time, hoping I'm right.
So get a little bit more news and rumors and circulation on some X-Men stuff. So X-Men is rumored to be coming out possibly in 2027, the same year as Secret Wars, just right after it.
Yeah.
So Disney actually has earmarked 4 untitled dates for Marvel. One of them is July 23rd of 27, February 18th of 28, May 5th of 28, and November 10th of 28. So
Hmm.
we have 4 new dates now, and the thing is that X-Men's supposed to be launching right after the Secret Wars. Kind
Yeah.
of caps
So
off
that
this
would
multiverse
go into
saga.
that July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do what?
It would be July then, because like Secret Wars is in May.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Because
Let
it's
me
the only
see.
2027 one.
Yeah, Secret Wars release date. It is May, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, May 7th, 2027 to be exact.
Okay.
So we're talking about like May Secret Wars and July X-Men. I'm okay with that. Oh my god, 2027 will be a hell of a year if that's what they end up doing.
I mean, I feel like these next couple of years, like this year, the following year, and the year after, is Marvel's gonna cook.
Yeah.
And not that they haven't been,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
in the
this year
kitchen, but
they're really starting to cook this year after
yeah,
taking that break
exactly.
from last
So
year. But
last year they
yeah.
only had one movie because they had Deadpool and Wolverine, but
Mhm.
this year I think that they're ramping up just like we saw them do it for before Avengers happened.
Mhm.
We saw like all of these movies come out for like Iron Man whatever 3, and then we had all these other like character arc movies to get us to this Avengers. So I
Mhm.
think that it's going to
So
be interesting to see.
if for some reason that July date is not the X-Men date and it's one of the 328 dates, right?
Better be
Uh
February.
well, if that was the case and it's not that July date for some weird reason, what do you think they would bring out? Do you have any ideas like what they would bring out maybe that July
Blade?
to kick off? Okay.
No.
That that would actually be the only movie I think I would be okay with.
But do we have a date yet for the Four Horsemen or whatever the sons
Oh,
the sun like
the Midnight Suns.
thank you. Yes. Do we have a date for that yet?
No, no, that's a rumor. But like that's the other thing. Like, are we going to get Blade before Midnight Suns or are we going to get the Blade movie after Midnight Suns and Blade debut in Midnight Suns? Like, because Blade's part of the Midnight Suns with Ghost Rider and all of them,
Mhm.
and they could go either way. We could get a
Yeah.
Blade of standalone before, or
Mhm.
that could be the debut of Blade and he come afterwards. So I would be okay if it was a Midnight Suns movie or a Blade movie. But if it's not neither of them two, it better be X-Men. That's like I
I
say.
agree.
And then,
I agree. Or okay, hear me out, right? Wanda? Wiccan?
uh, I mean, I want to see these, but I'm ready for something new and exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, and like those would be exciting, but they're characters we've seen in other projects. I'm ready for like Blade. We've only got to hear his
Mhm.
voice. We've not got
Yeah,
to see him, so I
yeah.
think that would still qualify as new though.
And we do know or yeah, so we know I mean, according to video games that I've played,
Hmm.
I theorize that eventually we might get Scarlet Witch into a X-Men project
Hmm.
because she has teamed up with X-Men.
Oh yeah, well I mean in the comics, I mean stuff. She's Magneto's daughter, but I don't know if they're gonna go that route or not, but
I don't know.
there's no telling. W
We'll see,
One more
who
thing on
knows?
some X-Men is, Jeff Snyder, the N. Schneider. So sometimes he's right, but sometimes he's way off the wall. He's a
Mhm.
very 50-50 person. He's not one of those that's, like, more right than wrong. He has some wild stuff out there, but then he's got some good stuff. But he says that Marvel's actually in talks right now considering 15-year-old Julia Butters to play Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, which is this person right here. So
That's the girl that
obviously,
goes through the walls, right?
yep.
Okay.
And so that's who's supposedly rumored. Take with a grain of salt. And talks to be Kitty Pryde. Marvel's trying to negotiate with right now.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, and then some more X-Men news. But a little bit different. X-Men 97, Lenore Zahn just stated that she just wrapped up her recording of season 2 of X-Men 97. So that
Nice.
so that means that they should probably all be pretty much all wrapping up pretty close if they haven't already. And
Mhm.
so that's just another step and a note of progression for us getting that season 2 on the way, which cannot get here soon enough at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to get
Oh my
more
god.
X-Men in
I mean,
any type of real life action, live action, I guess is the right word. Or
animated, live action, it don't matter.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just
100%.
give X-Men, give it to us.
And lastly, for our Marvel news, did you see that Spider Noir actually added 2 new cast members?
You're right.
Yeah. So they added just 2 new names for the cast. We don't really know who they're going to be playing yet.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, like that, I think is just even more ammunition that we're gonna get either more leaks,
Mhm.
photos from the set, or maybe we'll just get like a release date
I,
soon.
I'm anxious to see this too, and like knowing that more than likely, I mean, it is. It's standalone universe, and how some of these standalone universes have actually been working out pretty well. Like I know this is an Amazon project, so I'm curious to see how this is handled. But
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. I'm anxious for it to see it.
We saw what Amazon did with the Batman Cape Crusader, so
Right, and we love that. And
yeah.
the two people that they added to the cast was Amy Aquino, which is the therapist of Bucky's from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And then Andrew Robinson, who's from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that's the 2 additional cast members that's been reported added to the roster.
Nice.
But
Well, I think that's it for Marvel. You ready for some DC
yeah,
news?
let's jump into it. So we only got really one thing on the roster for DC today, so not a whole lot out there circulating around. But the Blue Beetle star, can't pronounce his last name. I'm not even going to try to.
It's
But
okay.
Zolo, I think, is how you say his first name. Uh,
Sure.
yeah, but the guy that plays Blue Beetle, plays Jaime Reyes. He gave new information on his upcoming return as Blue Beetle, which is actually going to be an animated series, and it's going to be like a standalone universe, I believe, possibly more likely like a Elseworld type thing. But
Okay.
he said they're trying to get things under wraps and get it going this year to where it could be possibly a 2026 release date.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, I enjoyed the Blue Beetle movie. Like,
Mhm.
I actually loved it. It was great. I laughed. I love George Lopez. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of the
Yeah.
news that I'm glad to see that they're going to use him too to continue
Mhm.
to at least voice him in the
Yeah.
animated series. I thought
I
he
mean,
did
that's what
really
James
well.
Gunn said that he wanted to do.
Right.
Regardless if it's his universe, he still wanted to use the same people
Right. Yep. So
throughout.
I think it's good to see him even like hold that weight of what he said even on these Elseworlds, even though it's not
Mhm.
the main universe. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, shit, dude, James Gunn's got like a lot of stuff coming through, like, and we don't really have dates still for the Robin and Robin movie.
oh yeah, dynamic duo.
Yeah, the dynamic duo. We don't have any news for Clayface. Oh no, we do have
Yeah,
a date for
we do
that.
have Clayface. I think it's
Yeah,
like
we have
August or something, wouldn't it?
or
August,
September. Yeah,
September.
it's
Yeah.
it's one of those dates. Ah, Lanterns doesn't have one though. Yeah.
I don't think it has an exact date. No, not yet.
Mm-mm. It doesn't
No,
even have an exact year yet. Like,
no. But we're getting a lot of news on like the cast and who
yeah,
people they're casting right
yeah,
now. That's about it.
yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah.
that's about all we got on DC today.
All right, let's go into some Star Wars.
All right. So Star Wars, Sigourney Weaver is actually going to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie.
What? That's insane.
Yeah, and she says that shed a little light on her character and her role in the upcoming movie is that her exact quote is, "I have to send the Mandalorian out on a mission on the Outer Rim where all the bad stuff happens." So don't necessarily mean I don't know if this is going to her character is going to like some kind of like authority figure,
Mm,
or if it's going to be some kind of role that he just agrees that he needs to help maybe,
yeah.
and so he's got to go out and do something that that she's in need of to help, something she requests. So it's kind of hard to tell. It's really
Yeah.
vague, but that's kind of
Definitely
all,
on purpose. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's all she kind of like shed some light on. But to
She's
see
like, "I
the
did the things to do the things and the stuff." Yeah? Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of cool. Sigourney Weaver. We all love her, obviously, big Alien fans here, and
Yeah.
uh, she was also in Avatar. I like her in the Avatar movie. So no,
She was in those,
so
yes.
far the only good one it was the first one.
Well,
In
yeah,
my
wasn't she
opinion.
only in the first one? 'Cause she
Yeah,
died.
yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess spoiler alert for those who haven't watched, like,
but
the
I think it's been out plenty
15-year-old
long enough. Yeah,
movie. I mean, yeah, but
yeah,
yeah,
and
she dies.
yeah,
Alright,
but
you ready to get into some educated wish then?
yeah, that's all we had for Star Wars. So. So, the first official trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth dropped this past week.
Yes.
My God, it actually looks. Actually, what was your exact words you said to me after you watched it?
I don't remember. I say so
Well,
much shit, I don't
you
remember.
you not being like too crazy about, you're not too excited about. It, you're like that. Actually, your exact words was you watched it.
Oh,
And you messaged me. You was
yeah.
like that. Actually, looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, it did, and
Yeah.
I'm 100% gonna say it, yes, I was not ready or expecting anything
Hmm.
great to come out of Jurassic anymore. Like, Jurassic Park is where my heart has always been at.
Hmm.
But we've been talking about Jurassic World and how it kind of resembles, this new one, Rebirth with ScarJo. That it has a lot of that,
Well, the director said that it has a lot of the nostalgic feel of the
right.
first Jurassic Park,
And
and
if you
yeah.
watch this trailer, you get it.
Yeah, it
You
makes sense
see it.
why, because
You
they
see
go
it.
back to the island of where the first one took place.
Yes, because they need that
Uh,
dino DNA.
yeah, and the whole plan is we see to extract it from eggs, because obviously that's a lot easier than extracting it from the large creatures. As he asks, he's like, "Why we gotta do it from eggs?" Well, it seems to be a little bit easier than getting up to, next to a live one. And
Yeah,
we get to see a lot of the actually old original
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs take
Yeah.
in this, and we get to see a little hint of a new mutated dinosaur. Because what's a new Jurassic movie without them throwing something new and mutated in there? And I seen a meme the other day. It's kind of actually true. It's like, do you see the new dinosaur mutation between the Rancor from Star Wars and what else was it? It's like a collaboration of three
Mhm.
creatures from different movies. And I'm like, oh my god, that kind of like what little visual you get, because it's very dark and they kind of tease you with it.
Yeah.
It kind of get there's like it's a blend before like a dinosaur off of Jurassic Park, a xenomorph from Alien, and a Rancor from Star Wars.
I love this.
Yeah.
I'm terrified about it, but I love it. Like,
Right, right.
yeah, you get to see, like, the banner and how it was kind of fallen over by that, like,
Mm,
T-Rex. Very iconic, a Jurassic Park 1 reference.
right.
So to kind of, like, see that in this trailer, and yeah, yeah,
I'm here
okay.
for it.
I'm here for it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
I
am.
mean, obviously, I think this they I could be wrong, but they said like there's a reason they need this DNA. It's just something to do to save humanity or help humanity or something like that. I think.
Or they just might
Uh,
want the damn DNA, like,
yeah,
because they
and
wanna do something stupid with it, which is probably what it's gonna end up being, is that they say that it's for this reason, but it's
mm,
actually for them to make another Jurassic Park.
right. And ScarJo is she is kind of more of the muscle, the badass muscle that's going in there with a lot
Yeah.
of experience and protecting and
She's like,
war
"I'm here to
and
protect you,
guns.
but,
Yeah, so
well,
we're gonna get to see
not
a lot.
really."
I think get to see a lot Black Widow esque type ScarJo in this, I'm sure. And then Mahershala Ali is like almost like a pirate who's known for smuggling and getting things through to wherever they need to get through. That's the impossible. And
Mm,
he's a friend of ScarJo's, and they kind of team up. And she's like, "Hey, this is the guy. If you don't use him, then you don't get me," type thing. So yeah, I'm excited to see all of them. I'm excited for this movie.
yeah. Yeah, I kind of actually am too, not even gonna lie. Like,
Nice.
it definitely is, like we were saying, Fantastic Four, Superman, and then Jurassic World, just because I don't have a lot of expectations for Jurassic World, just kind of like I don't have a lot of expectations for
Mhm.
Superman. But yeah, it looks good. I will say that. It definitely does look good. Now, it might be
Mhm.
something that, again, I'm gonna have to wait until it comes into streaming, but, um, I think it's gonna be a good experience. If
Heck yeah.
nothing else other than dinosaurs. Come on, it's
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Right.
But for those of you that struggle on the day after Super Bowl, Starbucks is doing a free coffee Monday. So all you have to do is become like a member no later than, I think, before kickoff today, or it might be like no later than like midnight or something. But you just have to become like a Starbucks member for
Oh, like
free.
the rewards, part of the rewards program?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and then you can get a free coffee. It's either iced or hot, uh, tomorrow before you go to work
Mhm.
because, as we all know, we're probably gonna be up for a little bit longer than we should be tonight, especially
That's
if it goes into overtime.
to be thinking of others like that. And a
Well,
great way to get people to sign up and get their emails. So
that too, unless you opt out, because you can definitely opt out or unsubscribe as soon as you're done. So, there's options out there. You don't have to, uh, watch it, or you don't have to, enjoy the rewards if you would not
right.
choose to.
So
But
we got a
speaking of,
first Final Destination trailer, right?
yeah, dude. Final Destination Bloodlines. We got our official teaser trailer, and man, as somebody who has been in so many different tattoo parlors, this is where that teaser takes place. You see this guy tattoo somebody, and then they leave, and he's like kind of like closing up shop kind of thing. And like you just see like chains in this fan, and you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? But then you see the chain go in through his nose, and the chain starts getting wrapped up by the ceiling fan, and it's
Mm,
like pulling on his
mm,
nose, and he's
mm.
just like climbing to try to like get it out of his nose, and he finally gets it out, and then something happens that there's like liquid on the floor, and then it gets on fire, and now he's on fire. That is like, I have so many fears of like how to die, and the thought of being burned alive is
They're about to
definitely
give
up
you
there.
so many more to think about after this comes out.
Yeah, I definitely already feel it in my bones that
I'm ready for it though.
I'm gonna be sweating in that theater is what's
Woo.
gonna happen. That's all the Final Destination really is how to
Oh yeah.
unlock a new fear.
Right, right. So Lego, they tend to stay right on top of stuff.
Mhm.
And they're like, you know what? Nothing's no different than Lilo and Stitch. They know how much people love Lilo and Stitch, and they're like,
Yes.
well, we better come out with a new Lilo and Stitch set before it debuts in theater. So
Mhm.
here we are with the new Lilo and Stitch Lego Beach House play set. Uh, yeah, you
I
Lego
want
fans,
the Lego Stitch.
yeah.
That's that's what I want. Yeah.
Anything Lilo and Stitch, I'm here for. I love Lilo and Stitch. One of my favorite cakes I've made in the past was a 2-tier Lilo and Stitch cake.
I totally forgot you were a baker before. Yeah. I was
And
just like, "What do you mean?"
it was so fun. Like I
Yeah.
did like a 2-tier cake. The bottom I did red and did like the white Hawaiian leaves, like that's on her dress or whatever.
Mhm.
And then like the top I cut out and did like Lilo's face out of layered fondant, and then did her face out of layered fondant, and then on top I did brown sugar as a sandy beach, and then like a palm tree on top, and like a surfboard sticking up. It,
Sir.
it was so fun. But Stitch, like anything Stitch, I just love. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Did you actually see that Lego is actually also today they announced that they have Lego sets coming out for Jurassic World Rebirth as well.
Oh, I did not see this.
Yes, they just
Okay.
announced it today. So it was just something that I was like, "Oh, we're talking about Lego and we just talked about Jurassic." Like,
Heck yeah.
yeah, so they
Lego
have like
stays
a
on
bunch
it
of
most
like
of the time.
they have a bunch of dinosaurs that you can put together. I
Okay.
was just like, "How do you okay, cool." I'm excited for that. But definitely Stitch is the way to go. Like that as my last name is Stith, right? So just one extra letter.
Yeah, I was
That
gonna say you're one letter away.
yeah, that's so close.
So a
Um
little bit more season 4 Ted Lasso news.
yes. Ted Lasso season 4. We keep on hearing just little rumors and hints as to if this is actually happening. We do know a couple of people got signed on for it, and this is just another way that they're just like, yep, we keep on
Mm,
hearing more. So there's an interview that was done with Keely,
mhm,
and she had said that like her thoughts is that she thinks that she's gonna choose Roy in the end of this. Like she's like, well, Keely, she's probably gonna choose Roy because that's where her future is, and
mhm.
um, yeah, and because at the end of season 3, we got to see the two of them sit down, and she was like, I don't
Right,
want either one of you,
right.
and like kicks them both out, and
Oi.
but she,
And then also Nick
yeah,
Mohammed recently hinted recently in an interview too that about returning to the film for a new episode this spring,
hmm,
to film new episodes this spring.
yeah.
So if they're going to start filming this spring, like we need to get some more solid news quickly about this, especially with Jason
What more
Sudeikis.
do you need? You already know. Like, there's
Well, but
multiple people that are coming
we've
back.
heard almost everybody, but we have not heard nothing about Jason Sudeikis.
And I think that's for a reason. I think that they don't want to announce it and just kind of have him, because I mean it's Ted Lasso, so you have to have him somewhere. Is it going to be flashbacks, or
Hmm.
is it going to actually be him in America? Because we got to see him go back to America
Right.
on that last like season and give up Richmond. So,
Yeah.
are they gonna name a soccer team after him, and that's why it's still called Ted Lasso? Are we still gonna get some?
He better be in it. I don't care what they do with the story. He just needs to be in it with everybody else.
You better call up Jason. You better call him up and tell him that then.
You know what? I'll probably this evening after Super Bowl's over, I'll probably just give him a ring, and be like, "Listen, guy, yeah, and
Listen, guy,
yeah,
not dude, not homie. No,
no,
listen,
no."
guy.
But like when we have our straightforward talks with each other, that's
Mm.
kind of how we talk to each other.
Ah,
I'm just gonna have to, put my foot down, tell him, "Let's get the news out. Let's just get it rolling. We gotta go."
well, I hope it works out for you. I really
I'll
do.
keep you up to date on it.
I appreciate that. But there's another trailer that we got, and it's Smurfs.
I have not seen this one yet.
So I didn't know that Smurfs was actually coming out with another movie.
I
Like
didn't either.
this is something completely different. Rihanna or Riri, however you want to call her, she's the voice of Smurfette, and she's the one that's like narrating at the very beginning of this trailer.
Okay.
You get to see that this trailer is like more, I guess, comic accurate. Like I
Hmm.
guess Smurfs were a comic. I didn't know that up until like watching this, because you get to see that they have like thought bubbles and exclamation points like pop up over their
Uh,
head, and
hmm.
it looks really cool. I didn't know that I needed this until I saw the trailer, and I was like, yeah, this is actually really cool.
Gonna make sure to watch this today. I like Smurfs. I've always enjoyed Smurfs. I grew up
Yeah.
like on the old cartoon from the
Hmm.
70s and 60s that they had on
Yeah.
Boomerang. So yeah.
Yeah. It looks really good. I think that Gargamel in this one is animated rather than the live action that they did
Okay.
for the previous Smurfs.
Yeah.
From what it looked like anyway. And then he has a brother. Gargamel has a brother, I guess.
Okay. I didn't know
And
this.
I I I could be completely wrong, and I could be mushing
Meshing.
two different things. Sure. Mushing two different concepts together, and it could he could not have a brother, and I could be thinking of something else completely, but I'm pretty sure in this trailer that he has a brother, and they talk about like he's the villain. But anyway, see the trailer. I think you'll enjoy it. It looks really cute.
Speaking of things excited about, but Fallout Season 2 has had some leaked set photos come out, and they're a little behind on filming because of the LA fires and stuff. But here's some leaked photos that popped on the internet here recently. We got this one right here. You're familiar with Fallout, right? So, like,
Yes.
is that the what is this
That
area?
looks like the Red Rocket station or something. Like it looks like a gas station type thing.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong, and it could be
Hi-
something else completely. And I do think that this Fallout does take place as in Fallout New Vegas. So I never actually
Yes.
played Fallout New Vegas, so I'm not familiar with that hotel. Um,
Gotcha. So I'm not actually. I couldn't find the picture, but I came across a picture earlier this week of like the new Vegas sign
mm,
on set. So I
okay.
think you're correct on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, like that's what we saw. I think at the end of Fallout Season 1 is that
oh, that's right. That's right. That's
Ella
right. The
Purnell was
scene.
like, yeah,
Yeah, you're
walking up
right.
to what looked like the "Welcome to Las Vegas" sign or something like that.
Nope, you're 100% right. I'm so ready for this. I absolutely, for me, not being a gamer and I've
Yeah,
never played Fallout, I absolutely fell in love with the show.
I want a Deathclaw. Just give me a Deathclaw. Like, I would love to see one, or like another mutant,
Mm,
like the scientific mutant. Since we have Macaulay Culkin in this, and I think he would be a great nerdy scientist mutant. I think he could pull that off.
we shall find out. Hopefully sooner
Yes,
than later.
but there's no release date yet still for this, so.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I wish they hurry up. I get
I
why,
want them to take their time
yeah,
and
sure, 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 sure.
and
Yeah.
think about the things that they
Don't
need
rush
to
it
think about. Right,
because the
and we
first
do
one worked
know
out so well. So
exactly,
we want to
and
keep that going.
Walter Goggins is, like, doing 3 different projects right now. Like, he's
The
doing
man is
Righteous
busy.
Gemstones, the Lotus, and Fallout. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how he has time to do any of this, but that's amazing.
Also, Dexter Original Sin episode 9 came out this past week. It is called the blood drive. So there actually there's a blood drive going on in this scene. Actually, Dexter helps out one of the police officers by giving his blood and acting like it's his, and
Mm,
then oh wow, I'm drawing such a blank. The Masuka comes in
okay.
and is like, "Hey, we got to do this blood drive. It's you have to be a part of it." And he's like, "Oh, I got fear of needles," and he don't, but he's saying this because he already gave blood, but was helping out his teammate without letting everybody know. And Masuka's like, "No, you have to do this. This is everybody." And so he makes him do it again.
Oh, no.
And so as he's as I kind of spoken last time, he figures out it's the police captain who's doing this to his own son, and he goes after him, and he gets lightheaded and is weak. And he's like throughout it trying to eat a candy bar to get his strength back up, but he
Oh,
kind of loses strength and stumbles a couple of times
damn.
as he's attacking him to sedate him.
Okay.
But we have one more episode, and this one leaves you hanging. So he takes the police captain, Patrick Dempsey, and he gets him on his table, wraps him in this plastic. But he's like, "Hey, I need to know where your kid is," and he's like, "No." He's like, "You're gonna let me go, or I'm not gonna tell you where the kid is. He's gonna starve." And he's like, "Crap." So then he's like, he kind of cuts this plastic on purpose, and he tells him he'll be back, but he goes and hides in his truck, lets him escape, and now it
Mm,
ends with him following him to see where the kid is, and that's how it ends.
mm.
But
Okay,
yeah,
that's smart.
You get Deb heartbroken in this because she found out from, like I spoke in the last one, she chose the wrong guy. Tends to be Deb's always choosing the wrong guy, even in
Yeah,
the original one.
yeah.
But yeah, and then we get to see the flashback of where Dexter and his brother get picked up out of the crate covered in blood after their
Okay.
mom and these other people were disposed of in multiple pieces. And then we also get to find, his brother. Harry's putting together pieces of these other murders. Come to find out, it's Dexter's brother that's doing these, and Harry's
Oh,
trying.
before we find out that he's the ice truck killer? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yep. And Harry like hides his file, trying to hide it from Lagretta because it's like Dexter's been deleted out of all his files, and he's just scared of someone finding out that his informant died. He had an affair with her, and he took on one of the sons, but not the second son. They tried, and it
Mm.
also showed them taking on both sons.
Oh,
His wife knew that this was the kids of the woman he had an affair with, but then she like kudos to her, was like, these people still need a mom, so let's take them both in. And she did that. And but then as Deb is crying in a cradle, the older brother takes a pillow to her. And so they call family services and they're like, listen, we fell in love with Dexter, but we just can't take a chance of putting our kids in harm. And they take him off, and that's how they get separated.
yikes! Because in the original, you see Deb and the ice truck killer guy, the brother
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
messing around because it
yeah.
dated.
Lo and behold, he tried to end her a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's how we find out that they did try taking on both of them, but they couldn't. They couldn't. It takes a chance of the harm that could come to them.
Damn.
So that's how they get split up. And yeah, yep. So yeah. Once again, another great episode. One more left. I'm here for it. Like it's been a wild, fun ride. So it's about to come to an end next week.
Are you sad?
Uh, yeah, a little bit, but I'm also happy that they're just executing this so well, and
Mm.
so like I'm here for it. Also another great wild ride. Season 2, episode 4 of Severance. Woe's Hollow. So this actually takes place, and I think it's I don't even know. This is such a wild show. So it takes place with them like in a snowy land. All the innies, they're innies, and they are learning. They're in the snow. They have like these not animated, but like these AI versions of themselves. Showing them where to go out in this middle of the nowhere in snow. Obviously, this has got to be like a level of the floor that this place is fake, but somehow they have snow. It's cold. They haven't stayed out in tents. Uh, Come to find out, though, the female, it literally is her. She is actually doesn't go back into her innie, which is who we found out. I can't think of her name right now. I cannot believe I'm drawing a blank on this. But anyways, she doesn't go back into her innie. That's friends with them and trying to escape because she found out that she's actually the father or the daughter of the owner that's
Okay.
actually doing all of this.
Yeah.
So she portrays her innie as she's doing it, and then Irv actually calls her out at the end and tries drowning her to get her to admit that she's actually her outie, and she admits it. And then now they're kicking Irv out of the whole thing. I don't know what they're going to do to him. It leaves you hanging off on that too. You find out some of the lore too. They have this story of Kier, which is who they kind of the owners, kind of worship or whatever, and then they tell the story of like the brother who was like, I don't know, the fallen one and who you don't follow. I don't know. This show's just wild. Like I don't want to give away too much. I'm telling you right now, like you need to watch it. I think you will love it.
Yeah. No, I think that I definitely will. I hate waiting for episode by
Yeah.
episode.
Well, you have the whole first
And
season's out right now.
well, yeah, I know, but then I'm gonna have to watch the second season because I know the second season's
Right.
out, and some of
Right.
it's out, so I'm just gonna have to wait for the second season to be
Well, I
over in order to
think
watch
I
all
think if you start
of it.
watching the first though, by the time you get done with it, the episodes will all be out as you get to them.
Do you know how I binge watch shows?
I know, but they're like
I would be
55
done with
minute.
it this weekend,
There,
or
well,
not this weekend, next
I
weekend.
think there's 10 episodes in the first season. They're 50 minutes
Uh-huh.
piece. Like they're an hour a piece almost.
Again, do you know how I
uh
binge watch shows?
Speaking of things that Walter Goggins is in and busy with, Invincible season 3 came out, dropped the first 3 episodes, and now it'll be an episode a week from here on out. Uh Man, it's pretty good. I slacked and I kind of got behind on watching Invincible. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. So
Mhm.
I wrapped up season 2 real quick, and now I'm all caught up on season 3.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about every episode as it comes out the rest of these weeks. It's great. It's fun. Season 1 was my favorite. Season 2 was okay.
Yeah.
It didn't bring it to me like season 1 did,
Yep.
but this season right here, if it stays on the roll it's going, I think I'm gonna like this better than season 1.
Huh.
You have Mark's half little brother now, and so that's
The
kind of how
alien one?
he's purple,
Okay.
and so
Yeah.
now he's he's progressing, growing quicker because he's part of that thorax alien species and part Viltrumite. Uh, but now Mark is training him. And so you have the little kid he's training who's like, hey, don't go out and fight. I'm training you. But then he shows up at the fight anyways. You get the brotherhood bickering, but you kind of see like Mark, it kind of makes you think of when Mark was getting trained as a kid, and by his dad. But there's a lot of great scenes, a lot of great stuff. I'm not going to try deep into this either because this is fresh and new. But I'm telling you right now, it's fun. It's great. A lot of the training between him and his younger brother, it's great. You get to see him finally pursue Eve as a love interest. Him and Eve are
Oh,
finally giving it a full blown go, and
okay.
there's reasons for that. like I said, I'm not getting to all the details, but it's fun. And we also get to see a new suit, same suit as you see in this right here, but it's blue and black. And what's hilarious is people think it's someone new impersonating him. So the news is calling him Invincible, which is pissing him off.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's great. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. Get caught up on it because this season to me is bringing it just as good, if not better, than season one.
Okay,
Just
because
my
that's exactly how I felt. Like season one,
Mhm.
absolutely loved every part of it. Then season two, I was just like,
Yeah, so I actually when I watched season 1, I was behind the game. Like, I didn't watch it as it came out. I
mm,
watched it after a while, after I heard enough people talk about it. It's like, "Okay." And then when I watched it, it's like, "Oh, I can't stop." But then when I remember watching season 2, it didn't pull my interest in as much as season 1, and that's why I
yeah,
kind of fell off.
yeah,
And, I pushed through it, and I'm glad I did because this season's it's good. It's great.
okay. Well,
Uh,
good to know.
yeah. So movie, you're gonna see next weekend,
Yes,
movie I've seen over this past weekend, Companion. Uh, if you haven't seen this, it's fun. You don't necessarily have to run to the theater and see it, but I'm telling you right now, it's a good movie that you should watch. Like
yeah,
it was entertaining. Jack Quaid's in it. Jack Quaid is dropping in a lot of things here recently. He's coming out also with Novocaine, what I want to see. I'm glad to see him venture out more from The Boys. I
mm,
love him in The Boys, but I'm glad that he's getting a chance to portray some other roles in other movies.
yeah.
But he is in this. I tell you what, from the trailers, I'm not going to spoil any of this. It's just a review of saying it's good, it's entertaining. Definitely watch it. Don't miss out on this. It's fun. Um, not what I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
Uh, like not what I thought it was going to be. I had no. I guess maybe if you put two and two together, and you're really good at figuring things out, you maybe kind of knew about this. I didn't. I've only seen like one version of the trailer of this in theater, so that's what I'm going off of. I don't know if there's multiple versions or not, but I was like, okay, I expect this to be a horror movie. It's not.
no, it's supposed to be more of a thriller.
Yeah, it's definitely a suspense thriller with some good comedy mixed in with it.
Yeah, that's exactly
Uh,
what it said, like on IMDb, is that it's a dark
well, I see
thriller
it saying that on
comedy.
IMDb because it's going to give you the proper description. But like just from the trailer, what I seen from the trailer,
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this might have a little horror aspect thing to it, because you see him having a girl tied up at the table, putting a flame, her hand over a flame, and all this stuff. So that's what I took from it. But I'm telling you right now, don't miss out on it. It's definitely worth watching. Jack Quaid was great. The whole cast was great. Uh, it's good. So.
okay.
I'm like I keep saying it's great, it's good. I just because like it's right there on the tip of my tongue, saying some stuff, but I'm not going to. So
Okay. Well, we can talk about it next week after
yeah, for sure.
I watch it in theaters, and then you
It'd
can
be
tell me
fun.
all
It'll be
about it.
fun for us to converse back and forth on this. So we'll
Okay.
definitely probably mention it next. We'll actually mention some details next weekend. When we do the next episode. So
Yeah, or we can do a standalone. That's always an option too.
it's true.
But anyway, the last thing that we wanted to talk about for the educated wish is that
Mhm.
Mission Impossible Reckoning. They had some behind the scenes type footage of Tom Cruise hanging out of a biplane. And it,
Imagine that.
he is known to really do his own stunts and
Right.
really get like the adrenaline and everything out of it.
No
So
matter how old he gets.
and I love that for him.
Yeah.
This they were saying that this one was the last one. The directors apparently over this past week came out to him and asked him to do some more, and he was like,
Yeah.
so I'm happy that he's still doing the things that he's not young, but
No.
he still is like doing the stunts and wanting to
Right.
be in the action. Now, meanwhile, yeah, he is hanging out of the biplane, but you do see like the strap just in case like he lets go or
Oh, for
whatever.
sure. Well, I don't think
But I
even with
mean, it's
us.
still scary because that
Oh
strap
yeah.
can break and he's in the air, like,
Right.
and they're filming it from a different, like, they have multiple cameras, obviously, right? So, the scene, like, you can see somebody filming it from their plane, just
Mhm.
being like, look at this shit. This is wild. They're like in a helicopter or whatever, just like, yep, this is happening. And he's just like prop plane upside down. He's hanging out of the prop plane, like thousands of feet off the ground.
That's wild.
Um, yeah, it's absolutely insane. So, I'm happy that he's doing it, and yeah, that he's living his best life.
Well, you ready to bring us this week's news on gaming?
I would love to. All right, so this whole first section is all about Insomniac, because I need to talk about it. So there's a rumor that Spider-Man 3 is moving into development for a 2027 slash maybe a 2028 release. We don't really know much more beyond that. We have seen like a couple of like teaser type trailers that people have made, like fan art, but this one is supposed to be really relying on that Green Goblin.
I'm so
Uh,
ready for it.
yeah, so the reason why we think that they're moving into development is because their upcoming Wolverine game is supposed to still be coming out this year. So it should be wrapping up on the development. There's no actual release date yet, but it is still supposed to come out this year. So we're thinking maybe in August,
I've
September.
been waiting so long for that game. So
It
long.
looks it looks really good. It's not, I don't think it's supposed to be open world. Again,
Mm,
of information yet out on this, but it does look pretty decent. And the last thing that Insomniac is kind of teasing slash talking about is that they want to be doing a Venom like spinoff.
really?
So
Okay.
this photo is from the Spider-Man 2 like Marvel game that came out like last year or a couple of
Mm,
years ago, however long that was ago.
yeah.
It was a couple of years ago, I think, at this point.
I don't
But
know. It was fun though. Absolutely
yeah,
loved
no,
this game.
absolutely brilliant, beautiful. And like the Spider-Man 3 like fan footage, we're getting like carnage and like it's just like, good stuff. But I would love to have a Venom spin-off game where I can go run around and go
Heck
play
yeah.
as Venom.
And at least then, as we see, I mean, we'll probably get the Venom we deserve, just like we get the Craven we deserve on the game. So,
You know, not saying anything else about that, but more news on gaming is that PlayStation 6 is supposed to be kind of like doing a little bit of a leak. So
okay.
these are all concept arts, mind you. So don't take everything with a grain of salt. So you have that one, and we have another photo in there as well as just some other concept art. They really are moving away from the disc, and they're
I
staying
actually
with
like
that.
those.
Yeah, it's very
They look pretty
sleek.
sleek. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. But this is supposed to be getting a like 2027 release date. So with that being said, everyone's thinking that Spider-Man 3 is going to be the game that comes out on this
Oh,
PlayStation 6.
that makes so much sense because
Right, which
we're going to get that theme box.
right, and that's why there hasn't been really a lot of talk about it. So, PlayStation 6 is probably going to be releasing at the same time, if
Mm,
not a little bit before Spider-Man 3, and they're hoping that Spider-Man 3 is going to be backwards compatible all the way to PlayStation 4,
mm.
but if not, at least just PlayStation 5. Um, so another thing that came out this past week on Tuesday is Destiny. Destiny 2 had their another act drop for Heresy,
Okay.
and the story has been absolutely beautiful. I am back in it. Like I kind of fell off a little bit when they were doing their weird tonics thing,
Mhm.
and I just really wasn't vibing off of it. But this story is just it's beautiful. It's all immersive again, and you're like, oh, I want to get back into that dreadnought. And it's just like a new kind of arena style gameplay,
Uh-huh.
where you're like you have to work as a team, and like you have like no life. So like your life is what your life is, and then it just trips down and never regains because
Mm.
that's the whole type of gameplay that this is. On this past Friday, they released a new dungeon, and it was called Sundred Doctrine. So it has a very Vow of the Disciple feel to it, and the reason why I say that is because you get some like this new armor, and it's like very Rolky. And also apparently it takes place on Rolk's pyramid ship. Now, I did get into it on Friday, um,
Mhm.
in the wee early mornings. Like I played it for like probably about 2 hours. I played it while it was on contest mode. It was extremely difficult for me and my husband to just try to like run through. But we at least got to the first encounter where we were figuring out the mechanics and really just like playing around with things. It looks great. I can't wait to actually like play it and get my first clear for the dungeon. I'm really excited about it. But this dungeon actually has taken the place for the longest time to complete. So it took 5 hours and 20 minutes. The previous dungeon that came out in October of last year was called First Host, and that one took 4 hours and 23 minutes. So that was the longest like type dungeon, like for people to figure out the mechanics and the puzzles and everything for it. And now this one took that place.
A whole
So
hour longer too.
yeah. So if Destiny is really showing us anything, is that the end game content has only gotten harder. It's exactly what people want and desire. This is supposed to be the only dungeon. It comes out this year. So, if you guys haven't played it, definitely suggest you play it. There is loot tables out on like IGN and Polygon and everything like that. But
Nice.
again, super awesome. But the reason why I only played it for 2 hours and then couldn't play it anymore was because PlayStation Network decided to go down. So it went down for a whole 24 hours, and
My
everybody
God.
was losing their shit.
Yeah, I've
Because
seen people all over socials like freaking out.
yeah, it was an unplanned network downage. So they had another time that the networks went down back in 2011, and it was called like the Great Hack of 2011 or something like that. So someone hacked into the PlayStation Network, and it was down for 24 days. So we didn't
Ooh,
know when this was coming back.
24
PlayStation,
days?
hmm
Ooh.
on back in 2011. So nobody knew when this was coming back. PlayStation was being very quiet, not saying anything on their socials. The first thing that they said was like, "Yep, we know it's down. We're working on it." And then that was it. And everybody was like, "Okay,
Wow.
it's 14 hours. Okay, it's 16 hours. Okay, what the fuck?" um and we just had to wait. Krispy Kreme came out with their little
Nice.
like, we know you guys are hurting. Since you have nothing else better to do, come get a free donut on us. Yesterday between the hours of like 5 and 7, and I was like, that's cool. I was gonna go get one. I decided to eat dinner instead and be a good human being, an adult, if you will. But now PlayStation Network is back up. I did get to play a little bit yesterday, before like I knocked out, so I was happy about that. Um, but what PlayStation is doing because of this outage that happened, they have 5 days of like the PlayStation Plus that they're giving all of their members for free. It's already added to your account, so that's pretty dope. Monster Hunter Wilds is supposed to be coming out in like 18 days.
Hmm.
So the beta is active right now. It started on the 7th, so again, Friday. And it was only supposed to go until the 10th, so tomorrow, Monday.
Okay.
But because for 24 hours you couldn't play it, they decided to extend it until like the 14th or something like that. So super cool that people have been like trying to give back to the community. But
Right.
if you don't play Monster Hunter Wilds, like you didn't pre-order it and you don't have PlayStation Plus, then you
Oops.
just had your stuff down. Like it is what it is. Maybe you got a free donut out of it. I hope. Um, So the next God of War is rumored to be in Greece. So it's supposed to take place with a younger Kratos. Now, mind you, this photo is from God of War 1, but it's just going back to kind of like its original roots, apparently.
Mhm.
Now, we do know that they are remastering the God of War, so it was kind of a little bit unclear as to if this new game was for the refurbished content, or if
Mhm.
it's like kind of like a prequel game. So we're kind of a little bit on the I don't really know right now.
Gotcha.
There was also a rumor that God of War was supposed to be taking place in Egypt. So kind of just don't know right now
Hmm.
until we get more information. Then we'll know. And if you know, you know. Um, but the last type of gaming news that I wanted to talk about is Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6 are coming out again, remastered on February 14th. So if you really were into Tomb Raider games back on the other generation consoles, they're
Mhm.
coming back for you to play. Just thought it
Played a
was
lot of
super
Tomb
cool.
Raider back in the day.
Yeah, I did too.
Mhm.
I remember that I had a tiger come run towards me, and I did not like that, and I threw my controller. Might have been why the PlayStation 1 broke. But I don't know. But yeah, that's it for gaming news.
Ready to jump in some con spotlight?
Let's go.
All right, so Lexington Comic Con and Toy Convention. It's Lexington, Kentucky, March 6th through the 9th, and tickets are on sale now. This is one actually I've attended 2 years ago, and it's where I met Cal Dodd, the voice of Wolverine from X-Men '97 in the '90s series. Him and his
Nice.
him and his wife, great people. They were hilarious. Sat there and talked for a while, but it's a good sized con. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's my first time going to that one. And there's quite a few celebrities that's going to be there, but the top I picked was yeah, Danny Trejo. I don't know.
Machete.
Yeah, I love Danny Trejo, and still plan on attending one of his taco places one of these days when I can. So you got him. You have how you say his last name? Uh,
Bordes.
yeah,
Burness.
Boreanaz,
Sure.
Angel, and Bones and stuff like that. Then you have Josh Keaton, who has been on our show here. We did an interview with him. He did Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. He plays voice of Tony Stark in Marvel Rivals, and a whole bunch of other stuff he's done. Then
Mhm.
Lou Diamond Phillips. I love him from Young Guns. He's plays Chavez in Young Guns, but also from La Bamba. Also, he's in his music video of Imagine Dragons, Radioactive, which is hilarious. It's a hilarious music video. He's like this big bad guy running teddy bear fights. So, but
Okay.
I actually got to meet him and got his autograph a couple years back at a fan expo. There's me and him together. Super nice guy. He's great. But then last on the list, Thomas Jane, our first. Well, I say our first one that counts to me, but our second Punisher in live action. uh, but yeah, Thomas Jane's been in quite a few other movies. But yeah, even though it's not like a super comic accurate Punisher, because people's like, oh, he should have been more hardcore in the movie. I still enjoy it. It was still one of the founding live action Marvel movies in my childhood. So
Yeah.
I still love watching it. But yeah, this would be a good one to go to though. Like I said it got a pretty decent sized floor. They have great vendors there. I think last time I was there, they had a giant size, and I don't watch Avatar like the Last Airbender, but what's that giant flying thing beast?
Appa.
They had like a life size one there that you could climb up on and take pictures with. It was pretty neat, even though I'm not an Avatar fan. That was super neat.
That's pretty
Uh,
cool.
yeah, and like so they have a whole bunch of great vendors there, but yeah, and like they're gonna have a one thing that I would love to attend. I don't really dance, but I love music, and I'm not gonna lie. After watching your husband Friday night do his DJ inbox, literally I can't help it. I love that. Is so they have a DJ Marvel dance party. It
Yeah.
goes on for 5 hours from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. I think that would be fun to attend.
I do
I'm
love a good
curious.
DJ.
Yeah, yeah, I bet you do. You do so much you married once, so you know.
Oh my god.
That's how much she loves DJs.
What I meant is that, like, there are some DJs that just ain't it. And if you know, you know. Like, if you know
Right.
music enough that you can, like,
Oh,
smoothly make
yeah.
music go into right. So we've been to a club together, and that was not it. Like, had a great time, still was
Yeah.
not it was not great music.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite mix of
No.
music for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So,
hey, we have bottle service.
we did that. But for me, for like a panel that I would
Mhm.
go to, I saw that Catherine Tate has a Q&A.
Okay.
So I would love to go to that. She was in The Office and she was also in Doctor Who. Two things that I absolutely adore.
Yes.
Um, So I would love to go there. I also saw that Chris Sabat, who is All Might's voice in My Hero Academia, has
Mhm.
a voice acting Q&A. And I thought
Okay.
that was super cool because he's like super famous,
Right.
with his voice acting. So if somebody were to try to get into that, and I'm like, why not? Like, if you have the equipment and you have the voice for it, why not?
Exactly.
Um, yeah, but there was a couple of people that I saw that I just wanted to name real quick,
Okay. Yeah.
because I saw they had like autographs, and I was just like, oh, that would be so cool. Um, Andrew McCarthy, somebody who was a big '80s guy. He
Pretty
was
in
in
pink.
Mannequin, Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire.
Hmm.
Loved all of those movies, watched them a whole lot of times. But Andrew McCarthy is going to be there as well, and he's going to have some autographs. Also, Jason Isaacs, who is Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter, he's going to be there, and William
Mm.
Shatner. They're
William
all doing
Shatner's pretty
autographs.
iconic.
So right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's kind of like older, so then now you got to be thinking,
Captain Kirk.
yeah, yeah,
No. Yeah.
but I would love to go eventually to this con one day, or at least see these people because and Andrew McCarthy is also not getting any younger, but
Yeah.
very iconic to look at for me because like I even when he was in something like more recently than those 80s movies, and I saw him and I was like, I know who that
Uh,
is. Um and it indeed was who it was, and I cannot remember what that movie was, but yeah.
yeah. The building this is into. I don't know if it's newer. It looks newer. But like it's a nice building that this is into. Like it's got like a huge glass front and stuff on it. It's like I think it's 2 or 3 stories tall. But it's a nice building that they host this into. So.
Nice.
But yeah, that wraps us up for this week. Now it's just go watch the Super Bowl and see what Marvel ads we get.
Or all the other different types of commercial ads
Yeah,
and the
hopefully we have some
halftime
good funny
show.
ones.
Yeah.
Oh yes, 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 yes. I'm so ready for the halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
But
I can't wait.
yeah, catch everybody later.
Peace.